Ladies and gentlemen, this program is about to start. Please prepare yourself. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning.
Magandang umaga.
Arun Sawaka.
Ladies and gentlemen,
My name is Anissa Hikmawati and my partner.
Ilham Abdulaziz,
It's a wonderful and precious chance for us to be your master of ceremony in this beautiful month in the International Virtual Short Course with the theme New Media and Digital Cultural Southeast Asia, April 18 till 22, 2022.
first of all, let us pray and praise to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala and Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Because of His bless and mercy, we can come together without any obstacle, with healthy.
In this beautiful moment, I would like to welcome Mr. Usman Kamsong, Mr. Nextor Corrales, Mr. Bambang Harimurti, who will be the speaker at our event.
The Honorable Rector of Universitas Muhammadiyah, Profesor Dr. Hamka, Profesor Dr. Gunawan Suryaputro, President of Mariano Marcos State University, Dr. Shirley Castaneda Agrupis, Rector of Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, Dr. Hidayatullah, and Dean of Konkan Business School, Asprof Pensri Jaron Manit.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda is singing of Indonesia, Philippines, and Thailand national anthem.
ธงชาติและเพลงชาติไทยเป็นสัญลักษณ์ของความเป็นไทยเราจงร่วมใจยืนตรงเคารพธงชาติด้วยความภาคภูมิใจในเอกราชและความเสียสละของบรรพบุรุษไทย
Ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda is a speech by Rector of Universitas Muhammadiyah, Profesor Dr. Uhamka, Profesor Gunawan Suryoputro. The time is yours.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah wa syukurillah la haula wa la quwwata illa billah. Very good morning. Respected resource person and participant, ladies and gentlemen. First, I would like to express my deep appreciation to all of you, particularly to respected resource person, Mr. Bambang Hadimurti, senior journalist, and the well-known person in media in Indonesia, respected resource person, Mr. Cornelis, political reporter of the Philippines, Daily Inquirer, and foreign war correspondent, Mr. Usman Kasong, the Director General of the Information and Public Communication, Minister of Communication and Information, my colleagues, Rector of Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, Dr. Hidayatullah.
Recording in progress.
The presidents of Mariano Marcos State University, our partner, Dr. Shelly Castaneda Sakutis, and then the Associate Professor Pensri Jarowanich, PhD, Deans of Konkan Business School, Konkan University, all the participants, students of Uhamka, Umsida, MMCSU, and KKPS KKU, ladies and gentlemen. As we know that digital technology have developed very fast today, and of course, it implies on the variety of fields. And these implications accelerated by the COVID-19 pandemic, in which the use of the internet increased very sharply, and all the communication activities done by walk of life using the media of technology. We also know that digital transformation in the world have changed significantly on the organization, cooperate institution in which they can interact, they can make interactions using this technology. The intent of the interaction between the organization of the world due to the COVID-19 too. We also see that now digital information have changed our activities, particularly in Asia, in South Asia, because of this transformation of digital technology. Because of this rapid development of digital technology, it becomes our part of life. More and more users, more and more people use internet, and more people accustomed with the internet. They prefer using this digital technology, using internet instead of watching TV, reading magazine, for example. Therefore, we can say that the use or the increase of the social media can make kind of a revolution of a communication digital in our communication in specific and in general in our work of life. We can enjoy arts, performance, we can socialize, we can use many resources to get the references from this technology, and even we can interact and have events like this using this technology. For me, as the old generation, of course, it's little trouble in using this. I have to read, I have to learn, I have to study. But for the students that take these courses, international courses, are considered as the digital native. Therefore, they have kind of the characters. They have the character of multitasking, reading from screen, chatting, gaming, social digital networking, constantly online and dependent on mobile devices. Therefore, they are very easy to customize. They're easy to learn instead of us on the old generation. This impact on the role of the universities. In my opinion, therefore, universities have to facilitate, have to equip their students to be skillful and competent in the technology, particularly the digital technology, in order to be responsible. And the second, university have to construct, have to make an innovation in order to have the digital capabilities through establishing the infrastructures related to the digital technology. And the third, university have to upscale their academic staff, their human resources to facilitate and to guide the student to study their courses. Therefore, in short, that the university have to establish kind of program to accelerate and to enforce the modes of learning. And therefore, international top courses like this is a very important program as a part of our curriculum. Therefore, again, I would like to express my deep appreciation to this program, particularly to our university partners, Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, the Konkan Business School, Konkan University, as well as to the MMSU or Mariano Marcos State University. And in particular, I would like to appreciate and thank you to the resource person, Pak Bambang Harimurti, Mr. Nestor, Bapak Usman Kamsong, and my colleagues, Dr. Hidayatullah. Again, thank you, congratulations, and I believe that you will be get an inspiration and horizon from this international courses, sub-courses. Thank you, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Professor Gunawan Suryaputra, for delivering such an enlightening speech today. Next, we will be presenting traditional dance Nandak Condet, and the dance will be performed by the student of UHAMKA. Please welcome Charika UHAMKA.
Recording stopped.
great performance, let's give appreciation to Charika Uhamka. Thank you. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the next is a speech by President of Mariano Marcos State University, Dr. Shirley Castaneda Agrupis. The time is yours.
Or you can stay 1.3 minutes there, Ibaga. Or later na. Okay, sige. Thank you very much. Marami pong salamat to our valued partners, Director of Universitas Muhammadiyah, Professor Dr. Hamka of Indonesia, Professor Gunawan Suryo Putro, Director of Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo of Indonesia, Dr. Huda Yusala, Dean of Konkan Business School, Konkan University of Thailand, Associate Professor Pensri Jaro and Lamit. To our keynote speakers for today's session, Mr. Bambang Harimurti, Senior Journalist and former CEO of Tempo Media, and Mr. Nestor A. Corrales, Political Reporter of the Philippine Daily Inquirer and a trained war correspondent, and a proud alumnus of Mariano Marcos State University. To the faculty and staff of our partner universities, Prabu Hamka and UMSIDA of Indonesia and PKBS of Thailand, the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, our very own Dr. Marivic Alinbayukin, and to the dedicated and hardworking communication faculty of the College of Arts and Sciences, who is led by Professor Myra Eugenio S. Castillo, Program Coordinator of the Bachelor of Arts in Communication Program, to all our students who are enrolled in this virtual short course, other virtual participants, guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant morning to each and every one of us. In our dialect here in Ilocos region, I want to greet you na imbag abigat kada tayo amin. In Indonesian, tagiyang nemyanangkan untak setiap orang. In Thai, aroon sawat. It is with pride and gratitude that I greet you today as we start this international virtual short course. I am elated that this online course is a product of our fruitful and productive relationship with our partner universities, particularly with Universitas Muhammadiyah, Professor Dr. Hamka, and Universitas Muhammadiyah Sodi Arjo, both in Indonesia, and the Konkan and Business School of Konkan University in Thailand. I hope I am pronouncing correctly and excellently your name. If not, my apologies. This just goes to show that learning and education goes beyond distance and borders. And for this, I would like to extend our sincerest gratitude to our partner universities for their trust and collaboration with Mariano Marcos State University that made this virtual activity possible. I see this as a win-win strategy as our faculty and students come together to share and create knowledge in a global and intercultural context. And this is especially relevant considering that the power of media transcends geographical boundaries and cultural differences. The media are basically everywhere as a tool for information, a tool for education, a tool for decision making and social impact. Indeed, we are living in an era that relies heavily on information purveyed by the media, but where irresponsible use of media and the sheer availability of content creation tools can also bring about misinformation. For today's opening program, which will set the tone for the succeeding days, we will have a futuristic approach as we will talk about the future of the press in the digital era. It's important to ask this question: does the press have a future in an era where there is competitive globalization? Will the press still thrive as an industry? Bravely and confidently, I dare say that indeed the press still has a future and that it is an industry that will never cease. This serves as a challenge, especially to our communication students, that as long as there are intrepid, zealous, brilliant, and creative communicators like you, the press will continue to live on. In the context of Southeast Asia, there are great challenges we face in the field of communication: the digital divide and the lack of access to communication technologies, the rise of misinformation, continued interference from the government and big businesses. In addition, we continue to be confronted by social issues such as climate change, conflict, hunger, and poverty, among others. But at the same time, there are so many opportunities for cross-border collaboration and learning afforded by new technology. For the next few days, I hope you feel the burning passion to love your own craft and continue to become active agents of change in society. At this juncture, I would like to extend my sincerest gratitude for all the speakers who will be instrumental to the success of this activity. Dr. Sri Mustika, Titin Setiwati, Ikom Wininda, and Ikom and Andis Tiara, M.I. Com Farida Hariyati, I do not know if this is M.I. Com, Usman Kansong of Uhamka, Dr. Rita Ambarwati, MMP Sikar, oh, I'm sorry for this, Mochamat Dansil Mortazan, and Popoy Fabriana of UMSIDA, Associate Professor Pensri Darren Wanit, and Assistant Professor Don Ruwatai Kovatanakul, Floor Kailin Ki Kashiwat of KKU, Dr. Fikri and Ikrandi of UMSIDA. And of course, could I forget our very own MMSU Communication faculty, who will also serve as speakers for this 5-day event. Professor Myra Eugenio Castillo, Professor Brian Rialdo, Professor Luby Hazel Aquino, and Professor Vincent Toribio. I hope that the next gathering like this of all these partner universities, you will make a day for the proper pronouncement of our names, because I know and I am hoping that you understand my mispronunciation of your names. It is not my intention really, but I am willing to join a workshop later on how to properly pronounce family names and names from Indonesia and Thailand. To all participants, more than the knowledge that you will gain, I hope that you will create a valuable experience and connections with one another that will serve as foundation for intercultural exchange founded on a shared passion for communication. Knows from this course, you will be able to collaborate with each other and create content that will be shared to a wider audience to bring about significant changes in Southeast Asia and the world. Long live communication, long live MMSU, long live UHAMKA, long live UMSIDA, KKBS, and KKU. Thank you at mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Thank you very much, Dr. Silis Castaneda Agrufis, for the best speech today. Ladies and gentlemen, next we will presenting Mariano Marcos State University Cultural Performance. Please enjoy the video of Mariano Marcos State University Cultural Performance.
If we analyze the cultural landscape of Ilocos Norte is hemmed by the Cordilleras in the east and the West Philippine Sea in our western part. We were influenced by our ancestors. At dadagidi may iding Spaniards, damot Americans, but more dagijay Spanish nga nagibati da iti kultura da. So we have the surtidos, we have the hotas. Ti movements na dagijay no kwan, medyo na pino. Haan nga kas kadagitay dances tayo nga napapaspas. Dagitoy fiestas, dagitoy social gatherings tayo. Ti Ilocano, saan na nga kahit nga sa wangga po nagagat tayo nga agtrabaho iti talon, uno iti balbalay tayo, at dagitoy tiyempo nga kayat tayo iti aglinglingay. Kayat tayo iti makakita iti sabali nga kakadwa, dagitoy kakabsat tayo, dagitoy gagayim tayo. So agkikita tayo iti maysa nga lugar. Ket dijay ti pangipakitaan tayo metten iti kultura tayo nga natawtawid tayo, kadagitoy napipintas nga galad, kin napipintas nga garaw.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajmain. Amma ba'du. Saya mohon maaf, I'm sorry, I speak in Indonesian. Yang kami hormati sahabat saya Profesor Dr. Gunawan Suryo Putro, Rektor Universitas Hamka Jakarta, Dr. Shirley Castaneda Agrubis, President of Mariano Marcos State University, Philippines, Associate Professor Pensri Jarunwanits, PhD, Dean of KKBS Kongkain University, Thailand, Pak Bambang Harimurti, Nestor A. Karales, serta Bapak Ibu para pembicara lainnya yang tidak bisa saya sebut satu persatu, dan adik-adik para mahasiswa dari 4 negara yang mengikuti internasional hari ini sampai siang nanti. Alhamdulillah, kita bersyukur kepada Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Pada pagi hari ini kita dapat hadir pada acara International Virtual Shortcast dalam keadaan sehat walafiat. Mudah-mudahan kita semua senantiasa dilindungi oleh Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Bapak Ibu hadirin sekalian, kalau kita mencoba untuk flashback sejenak, bahwa kehidupan manusia ini mengalami proses yang cukup panjang, tetapi proses itu dari waktu ke waktu hingga sekarang dan yang akan datang menunjukkan perubahannya semakin cepat dan semakin cepat. Jika kita runut dari sebuah proses terjadinya revolusi, dulu awalnya ada revolusi hijau pertanian, kemudian masuk revolusi industri, itu dimulai tahun 1800-an kalau tidak salah, ketika ditemukannya mesin uap, dan kemudian 100 tahun setelah itu, industri menjadi semakin berkembang sejak ditemukannya listrik, yang itu kita nikmati sampai hari ini dan insya Allah pada waktu-waktu mendatang kita juga masih menikmatinya. Nah, kemudian pada sekitar tahun 2000-an telah terjadi ledakan komputer, personal komputer, di mana waktu itu komputer tidak hanya ada di kantor-kantor, tapi komputer sudah masuk di rumah-rumah kita. Nah, kalau kita melihat perkembangan revolusi industri, di awalnya butuh waktu sekitar 100 tahun dari mesin uap ke listrik ke ledakan komputer juga butuh waktu 100 tahun. Tetapi begitu komputer ditemukan, perkembangannya menjadi sangat cepat. Dan kadang-kadang kita sangat ketinggalan dengan perkembangan itu. Apalagi ketika sekitar tahun 2010-an kita semua mengalaminya, ditemukan teknologi wireless, sehingga kita tidak butuh lagi kabel yang menghubungkan, tetapi kita semua sudah bisa menikmatinya dengan teknologi wireless itu, dan apalagi kemudian berkembang big data, ada artificial intelligence, ada Internet of Things, dan yang seterusnya berkembang tidak bisa dihentikan dari waktu ke waktu, hingga saat ini kemudian kita menghadapi perkembangan yang sangat cepat, terutama ketika teknologi digital masuk ke semua ruang yang ada di tempat kita masing-masing. Dengan ditemukannya teknologi digital ini, perkembangan kehidupan ini mengalami sebuah proses yang lebih cepat lagi. Karena itu, Bapak Ibu sekalian, teknologi digital meniscayakan lahirnya berbagai perubahan dalam kehidupan ini. Dan karena itu, ini menjadi sebuah tantangan yang sangat besar sekaligus peluang bagi kita untuk bisa merespon dan memanfaatkan adanya perubahan-perubahan yang sangat cepat dalam kehidupan itu. Kita sekarang menyaksikan dan sekaligus menggunakan berbagai teknologi baru yang lahir, dan itu memudahkan dalam kehidupan kita, dan bahkan kemudian teknologi ini dari waktu ke waktu semakin murah. Kita tidak perlu mengeluarkan dana yang cukup besar, tetapi dengan dana yang tidak terlalu besar, kita sudah bisa memiliki dan menikmatinya teknologi-teknologi baru itu, lebih-lebih teknologi digital. Nah, persoalannya kemudian adalah dengan adanya teknologi digital yang luar biasa itu kemudian berhasil menciptakan pasar baru, new market. Dengan adanya pasar baru ini tentu menjadi tantangan dan sekaligus peluang bagi kita semua. Ada sebuah tantangan yang dihadapi oleh incumbent, mereka yang masih kekeh dengan karya-karya, dengan produk-produk yang dihasilkan pada masa lalu, dan akan berhadapan dengan pendatang-pendatang baru yang membawa produk-produk baru, termasuk di dalamnya adalah teknologi digital ini. Maka barang siapa yang masih kekeh dengan karya-karya yang dulu dihasilkan, itu pada saatnya juga akan mengalami kepunahan. Dan itulah sebabnya revolusi ini menjadi luar biasa, banyak jenis pekerjaan yang kemudian hilang, tetapi kemudian di depan kita juga akan muncul berbagai pekerjaan lain yang lebih banyak lagi. Dan pekerjaan-pekerjaan itu lebih banyak dikendalikan dengan teknologi digital, dengan robot, dengan artificial intelligence, yang semuanya serba otomatis. Nah, saya kira ini juga menjadi tantangan bagi kita semua di berbagai media yang kita tekuni, itu juga menuntut adanya penyesuaian diri dalam perkembangan ini, sehingga ini juga menjadi tantangan bagi perguruan tinggi kita masing-masing, bagaimana program studi yang kita hadirkan ini betul-betul bisa memberikan inspirasi dalam sebuah proses pembelajaran yang kita lakukan. Kita berharap terjadinya learning inspiring, maka ini menjadi sebuah PR kita bersama, bagaimana kemudian kita bisa memberikan sesuatu yang menginspirasi bagi para mahasiswa kita, pelajar kita, yang mereka kemudian bisa mengembangkan dengan sendirinya sesuai dengan perkembangan kehidupan peradaban saat ini. Sudah barang tentu kondisi ini akan mengalami sebuah percepatan yang lebih cepat, dan lebih cepat. Dan karena itulah forum ini menjadi sangat penting hemat saya, yang perlu kita ikuti dengan seksama, yang menghadirkan berbagai pembicara dari 4 negara yang juga diikuti oleh dosen dan para mahasiswa. Tentu kita berharap pertemuan ini menghasilkan pencerahan bagi kita semua, dan kemudian kita bisa mengambil dan kita aktualisasikan, bahkan kita kembangkan di perguruan tinggi kita masing-masing untuk bisa mengembangkan apa yang sudah kita rancang saat ini dan kita proyeksikan ke depan. Bapak Ibu hadirin sekalian, mungkin itu saja yang perlu kami sampaikan dalam kesempatan ini. Sekali lagi atas nama pimpinan UMSIDA Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, mengucapkan terima kasih dan selamat dan sukses atas penyelenggaraan International Virtual Shortcourse ini. Mudah-mudahan semuanya berjalan dengan lancar dan memberikan makna yang sangat kuat bagi kita semua di dalam mengembangkan keilmuan, khususnya di bidang media ini, sehingga kehadiran kita ini betul-betul bisa memberikan manfaat yang jauh lebih besar bagi masyarakat luas, sebagaimana yang ditegaskan oleh Rasulullah Nabi Muhammad SAW. Beliau menyatakan sebaik-baik manusia adalah manusia yang paling banyak manfaatnya bagi manusia yang lainnya. Khairun nas anfa'uhum linnas. Terima kasih, kurang lebihnya mohon maaf. Billahi taufik wal hidayah. Nasrum minallah wa fathun qarib wa basyiril mu'minin. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hidayatullah, for inspiring speech. Ladies and gentlemen, please open your camera, and we will presenting Porongan Shadow Puppet in Geguritan Rhyme Japanese Putri from Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo Cultural Performance. Please enjoy the video of Japanese Putri Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo Cultural Performance.
Saya sebagai penulis naskah menggali cerita-cerita rakyat legenda yang ada di Sidoarjo, Jawa Timur menjadi sebuah konsep naskah pertunjukan.
Jadi titik mata kayak gini tatanya bunder, tapi di sini tutup. Nah, terus samping-sampingnya harus. Nah, kalau ini selendang harus dimodel kayak gini. Tumpuk tindih. Ini juga bawah. Gitu. Terus yang badongan modelnya kayak gini. Tapi kebetulan ini proses pembuatannya masih kaku ya, awal-awal gitu, belum profesional. Harusnya nggak kayak gini, kurang lebih rapi lagi. Terus isian dari ini sumping itu macamnya ada banyak variasi dan model, tergantung penatanya sendiri. Mau di model kayak mana? Kalau kayak gini, sumping kayak gini modelnya, tumpuk kayak gini. Terus kalau di wayang model mahkota modelnya kayak gini bentuknya. Kalau Jawa Timur isiannya ini beda. Terus Garuda Mungkurnya juga beda. Dan bagian mulut, kalau mulutnya kayak ini beringas segini, ada wir-wir kumis ini jambang.
Kalau untuk ketiga faktor itu lebih fokus ke pedalangannya. Kalau untuk membuat wayang, melukis itu hanya sela-sela waktu luang kayak gini aja, biasanya kayak gitu. Jadi nggak terlalu spesifik ke membuat wayang, terus ngecat, karena itu semua ada bidang-bidangnya masing-masing. Jadi untuk memfokuskan ke wayang, ke pedalangannya aja.
Memandang bahwa Sidoarjo itu mempunyai sejarah kebudayaan yang cukup panjang, menyimpan banyak cerita rakyat, legenda yang mempunyai ajaran nilai-nilai luhur. Akhirnya kami upayakan, kami coba sajikan cerita-cerita rakyat yang ada di Sidoarjo itu menjadi pertunjukan wayang mainan, wayang legenda, dengan tetap kami berupaya patuh terhadap aturan wayang Purwo, khususnya wayang Jekdong Jawa Timuran. Sambil kami belajar bersama-sama dengan anak-anak muda untuk menampilkan, mewujudkan sebuah pertunjukan wayang legenda ini.
Karena keluarga juga belum tentu mendukung karena masa depannya belum jelas. Kalau teman, mungkin frekuensi saya dengan teman-teman sebaya saya nggak ada yang sama. Jadi banyak yang hanya memandang sebelah mata. Ya sudah, kau suka itu, saya suka ini. Kalau kita untuk memaksakan orang untuk cinta terhadap wayang itu susah. Tapi yang saya harapkan adalah ini adalah budaya kita. Jadi sebagai anak muda, hargailah dan hormatilah budaya bangsa yang mungkin tidak sepenuhnya Anda cintai.
Dipanggil aja ya. Panggil aja. Nanti langsung Ikma berarti ya, ladies and gentlemen.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. The next is speech from Dean of Konkan Business School, as Prof. Pensri Jaronwanit. As Prof. Pensri Jaronwanit, the time is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, please open your camera because we will presenting video of Songkran Festival from Konkan University Cultural Performance. Let's enjoy a video of Songkran Festival.
And now we are going to present keynote speech on the future, the pairs in the digital era by our keynote speaker, Mr. Bambang Harimurti from Indonesia Pairs Council. Mr. Bambang Harimurti is an advisor of Independent Research and Advisory Indonesia in the field of media and outreach. He is a leading Indonesian journalist who had led the directional of Tempo Weekly news magazine and the vice chairman of the Pers Council, and has served as the head of the media representative office in Bandung, Jakarta, and Washington DC, USA. In 2005, Mr. Bambang was awarded the Nike International Pers Fellowship Award Journalism from the International Center for Journalists, or ICFJ. Mr. Bambang Harimurti, the time is yours.
Kiai Haji Ahmad Dahlan was the founder of the Muhammadiyah Islamic Organization, whose spirit has been enlightening, educating, and advancing people until recently. Buya Hamka is a figure of the nation's intellectual cleric, who inspires us to prepare young generations to excel in the domains of spiritual, intellectual, emotional, and social capability. University of Muhammadiyah Professor Dr. Hamka, or widely known as UHAMKA, is located in the center of the metropolitan city of Jakarta and is accessible to various means of the city transformation. Such an easy access has increased the university effectivity in providing quality education for the young generation. UHAMKA promotes the Islamic values and Muhammadiyah in its teaching and learning processes, and in many life aspects, preparing its graduates to excel intellectually and spiritually.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dengan lisensi akreditasi A yang kami miliki, lulusan UHAMKA bisa dengan mudah memasuki dunia kerja yang serba kompetitif maupun sukses dalam berwirausaha, karena UHAMKA membekali pribadi setiap lulusan berkarakter, cerdas, kreatif, dan inovatif di era industri 4.0 yang serba digital.
UHAMKA has 10 faculties with modern teaching and learning facilities and infrastructure, one of which is Faculty of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences. These faculties are supported by professional teaching staff as well as modern classroom.
Alasan saya memilih di UHAMKA adalah karena alat-alat yang lengkap dan tenaga-tenaga pengajar di sini adalah dosen-dosen yang profesional.
Laboratory facilities and infrastructure to prepare qualified graduates in health research. One of the leading sectors in the faculty is the research on the halal test of food ingredients. Such a research sector has been referred by many large companies in determining the halal category of a food product. The Faculty of Medicines is equipped with comprehensive laboratory facilities and always updates the teaching and learning materials with the current development of theories and application. The Faculty of Economics and Business prepares its graduates with sufficient competences in the field of Islamic economy and business. One among the courses presents the Islamic philanthropy. The teaching and learning facilities are supported with library and other teaching and learning resources that focus on the
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Bambang Harimurti. Sorry for a bit short delay because I thought I was going to spend 1 hour from now, but I'm very happy to join all of you here, and I hope I can give you a good presentation that can be beneficial of you. Let me share screen now. Can you all see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. As you can see, the presentation this morning is about the journalism for digital journalism for the future. And let me go back first to the history of journalism. As you can see, journalism starts with word of mouth, and then humans start to know how to write. It becomes a written media, and then when they found printing machine in the 15th century, so that become printed media in the 16th century. And then when they found radio and TV on the 20th century, it's also becoming print, radio, and TV. And then now we are entering into digital media in our 21st century. Next, please. Next slide, please. Yes. Here is and why is that? Because technology really become very important in journalism. And here I give you what technology, especially in industrial revolutions, affect to journalism. We have in industry 1.0, that is when we have printed media, or the print media started mostly in the 16th century, and I think it become a very heyday, bigger to the 18th century. And then as we have the industry 2.0, we are beginning to have a mechanic. Then the print radio also joined by the radio journalism, because they found radio during the industry 2.0. And then when we have a new disruption again, industry 3.0, they said, then we start to have print journalism, radio, and TV. And as I mentioned before, now we are entering industry 4.0. We have not only print, radio, and TV journalism, but also what we call digital journalism. And what we call digital journalism? Next slide, please. Here is what I mean by digital journalism. Hello? Yes, thank you. Here is what is digital journalism? Digital journalism, or sometimes also referred as an online journalism, is a contemporary type of journalism where editorial content is circulated through the internet instead of utilizing print or electrical communication or electronic communication. Yeah. So this is what happened in the Industry 4.0 era. And then we can go to the next slide, please. I'm just giving you this for just a basic history of journalism, and also just to give you the context of what happened to disruption in technology to journalism, yeah, and how journalism also adapted to development of technology. Next slide, please. Here, what is so different between journalism before the digital era and after the digital era is there are a few new concepts. One of them is sometime in the business we call the long tail. Yeah, it's because if in the newspaper we produce one newspaper, we try to sell that one newspaper. But in digital journalism, we produce one content, but we try to sell it to many modus or channel. Yeah, here journalism mostly become multimedia. Not only at the same time you have print, but you also broadcast it in the radio or internet radios mostly. We have website, and usually we also produce an app, and where they can not only read, they can only hear and see visual. And of course, each mode usually not exactly the same, but they have their own adaptation to ensure that they take advantage of the advantages given by the technology. And two, this is very important and very different than the other form of journalism before digital journalism, is what we call the engagement with the audience. When in the conventional technology like print, radio, and TV, it's usually we call the communication mode is one to many. So, for instance, if you read Tempo is producing and then just distributing it to the readers. But in the digital journalism, it's actually many to many, because readers or audience can also put their user-generated content in the, whether in the website or if they're using social media, through the social media or from the app. And this is very different, and therefore journalists from an old school like me have to adapt. That now we have to not only we just write or broadcast our product, but we have also to listen, read, and engage the audience. So the communication is more two ways instead of one way. Actually, many ways, not just two ways. Because the user-generated content can also enjoy the product of other users. And third is with the internet, we change to become to produce what we call a continuous user experience in all modes. Yeah? We know that in radio and TV and the conventional journalism, they also have used continuous mode, but not necessary for user experiences, yeah, because of the one-way communication. But in digital journalism, because of the many-to-many communications, then and it happened instantaneously and continuously. So this is also another difference in digital journalism. And on the business side, there is a new word also being used in multimedia journalism. We call it, they usually have their product in two modes. We call it the premium, which is free of charge. The internet is providing many content that's for free, but also most likely they also produce another product called the premium product, where they have a paywall, so you can only access to this premium product if you agree to pay a certain amount of money, and this is needed because in digital multimedia journalism, the role of contribution from the readers or the viewers becoming much more important than advertising revenue, which I will explain it later. And last but not least is in digital multimedia journalism, the entry barrier is much lower because all you have to do is you just have a handphone and an internet connection, and you can produce digital multimedia journalism, a one-man show. That is no problem. And because of this low entry barrier, everybody basically can become a journalist, quote unquote, and also can become publisher. And it has a great impact on the business model. It changed the ecosystem of journalism. As I can give an example for the next slide, please. Here is what happened to media landscape in Indonesia because of all this new, call it a new inherent different things caused by the digital multimedia station. We see that in Indonesia now, according to the Press Council, there are about 2,000 print media in 2018, but now I think it's less because that was almost 4 years ago, because it keeps decreasing in time. We hear almost every day news that some newspaper or magazine closed down, or at least they have the print version closed down and only becoming a digital media. We have 674 radio stations and 523 TV stations. But here, what is interesting, we have more than 43,000 online media and increasing with time. So now they are saying maybe this year, according to the Press Council, maybe it's already increased to 47 or 48,000. So it's increasing with time. So I put a picture here of a character from the story of the adventure of Gulliver, because this media online, almost all of them, are very small. Sometimes it's a one-man operation, or maybe only 5 people operation. A lot of them are very small, and it's scattered all over Indonesia. Many are started actually by freelance journalists. They decided they don't want to be just contributors to a big media. they want to start their own, sometime in their own hometown, yeah, in local, very local area. So, so you can see that there is a big change in the media landscape, not only in Indonesia but everywhere, because of the low entry barrier. Now you can compare it with if you want to try the old TV station or radio station, you have to get a license, which probably you will never get, or you can get it, buy it very expensive. And then you have to wait probably, or if you want to go into print media to publish the newspaper, you have to have a lot of money to print it and then to distribute it. And, this is a headache also, because many journalists don't really want to become very busy on the business side. They want just to stay on journalism side, and they believe in the what they call the firewall, which I can explain later if you really want to know what firewall is, if you haven't known yet. But with the online media now, a big platform, journalists can start an online media without having to be busy on the business side, because big platform will take care of the business and distribution side. Next, please. And the good thing about this is, if you ever heard A.J. Liebling saying that freedom of the press is guaranteed only to those who own one, now it's very easy for everyone to own publishing company, because it will not cost you a lot, but it will be a very small one. Next, please. For those from the conventional media, when they are transforming themselves to become digital multimedia, they have a very huge challenge in on the business side. Why? Because within the digital platform, because it has a very low entry barrier, and suddenly you have so many competitors. For instance, in Indonesia, before, if you publish a print media, your competitor is less than 2,000. But if you start a digital online media in Indonesia, your competitor is now maybe more than 47 or 48,000. So, while the revenue generated from the market, it's growing, but it's not growing that fast. So you have to fight harder. Yeah? Competition on the business is much bigger. So for old conventional media who transform to become digital multimedia, they found out that on average, for every $1 they gain in digital revenue, they lost $7 in print revenue. So this is, of course, if you are taking care on the business side, this is a big challenge that if you don't handle it better, can cause the closure of your media, which already happened to thousands of conventional media all over the world. And here you can see the graphic of it, so you can get a sense of what happened. Next slide, please. Here is the other challenge in the ecosystem of the digital media. As you can see in this picture here, there is a cartoon of so-called free speech monopoly, where you have be Google, Facebook, Amazon, and we call it the Chinese Baidu. Basically, they are the platform that dominate the whole world. In China, it's only one, but outside of China, we have Google, Facebook, and if you look at how big their market in digital advertising revenue, right now you can see that Google and Facebook are almost 80% of digital advertising revenue is taken by these two cartel, we call it, yeah, Google and Facebook. And only 23% of the market is shared by all those thousands and thousands of other media for digital revenue. So that's why for every $1 of revenue in digital, for conventional print media, they lost like $7. Yeah, this is the cost of the death of many print media in the digital era. But because this dominant is not what we call a healthy ecosystem for the public, then there is a blowback, there is a resistance. In the United States of America, this is considered an antitrust pressure. So there is effort to create a new law to ensure that this dominant will not stay forever. For those who are interested in business, maybe you remember the story of AT&T, which was then instructed by the government of America to become smaller, and so they became 7 baby bells in order to give a market a possibility to compete fairly. Because if one or two companies too dominant, it's not a fair market anymore. In Europe, maybe because this cartel United States company, not European company, they created a new law called Digital Services Act and Digital Marketing Act, which basically give a better chance have a better fighting chance with, again, the Google and Facebook. And of course, in the rest of the world, also similar new law. In Indonesia, also I'm involved in trying to create a presidential decree to give a better chance for the Indonesian media company to deal with Google and Facebook. And some of the emerging new platform for journalism, a possible competition of platform that journalists can use outside Google and Facebook. There are quite many of them. I mentioned here Substack, which give a better share of revenue sharing for journalists who produce content. There are Supercast for those who are more interested in producing video or podcast. And in Indonesia, we also have what we call Karya Karsa, which is similar to Substack or Supercast, but actually it's more similar with Patreon, because this is more focused to help the media in the art form, including comics or cartoon or other more arty form. But as you know, this is all a new disruption technology, And I think when you have a disruption technology or innovation, not only in media technology, but in any innovation, you have to survive what we call the valley of the dead. Yeah? Because when you have a new innovation, maybe produced by research, and then the research proven to be good, you still have to ensure that commercially it is also competitive. Otherwise, you will not make it and you will be dead. Yeah, that's why it's called the valley of the dead. And only those who can survive across this valley of the dead, because they can adapt to this new technology and how to monetize it, then you can survive. So for many old conventional media, this is a challenge, how to survive the valley of the dead and then become a new transformative digital media platform, media, and thrive in this new environment. And it takes some time and a lot of money. As you can see, for instance, one of the famous cases, the New York Times. The New York Times able to cross this dead of valley, but it took them more than 10 years. And they almost went bankrupt, and because they need a lot of money, but then they borrow money from the richest person in Mexico, and then they've been able to pay this loan now, so they are on a good future now. They are, I think they will thrive and survive and remain a good media in a new form. And if you have, if you want to know other cases, there are other cases I can give you, but let's go to the next slide. While we are waiting for this next slide to come to your screen, another examples, the Washington Post newspaper. You probably heard about this newspaper because it's very famous during the Watergate, and it also survived because the owners sold the newspaper to Amazon.com owners, yeah, and of course the new owners now really using the digital technology to ensure the newspaper survives. And since it is one of the richest person on earth, it's not problem to finance this transformation. But other conventional media who does not have the ability to transform themselves because they don't have enough money to do this long transformation, maybe about a decade of transformation, then either they are closed or sold to others, or they try to survive barely by closing the print edition and only remain in digital form. That is what happened to the publishing companies. What about the journalists? Here, I think it is a very interesting topic because I think journalists also need to transform himself or herself to survive in this digital multimedia era. I just put here a research result by the Dutch Journalism Fund that says the future of journalists, there are 4 scenarios. Yeah. One is, in simple terms, if you want me to explain it, elaborate more, I will go back to this, but in simple terms, I will just explain it. The profession of journalist will become more like the current profession of accountant or lawyer, you have the option now because of the existence of big platforms that you just want to concentrate yourself on the journalist side, and then you just put your product in one of those platforms, like Google, Facebook, or if you are more progressive, you put it on Substack or Supercast or similar other platform that give you a better revenue sharing. Then you can become a one-man journalist and producing media, probably media that cater more on a specific topic. Yeah. Usually this is for those who are expert in a certain topic. We call it a niche market. And some journalists who have an expertise on this niche market learn a lot, become very rich actually using this mode. Yeah. But of course, because this is a very competitive market, there are much more journalists who actually lost money on this endeavor than earning money. So you have to be really good to be successful in this option. Second is maybe you can also share with some people, so you make a group, maybe a cooperation, and then you only concentrate also on the journalistic side and create a bigger media than a one-man show. So you have a better chance to be successful than if you go it alone. And in this case, you don't have to be only on a specific expertise. You can do also on a general judgment. But maybe you specialize on a certain location, which means you don't have as many competitors as in the whole world or nationally. And of course, there are others. Mode is that you create your own platform like the New York Times, but this means you need a lot of money and you need a lot of expertise and technology, and maybe you can do it by having a partner who have a lot of money and knowledge in the technology. And that's basically just like if you are an accountant now or a lawyer now, you can either open your own law firm or accountant firm, or you can join with a few other accountant or lawyer to form a small company, or you can join a big giant company and work as just as a pegawai, yeah, as a staff, as a corporate staff, and maybe go up in the career. Okay, next please. I have only two or three slides left. Yeah. So it's your decision. Yeah. Here, whether you want to be one-man show or a few person company, you can join the Supercast or Substack or Karya Karsa or Patreon, or you can become a staff in a career person or a freelance correspondent to the big old conventional media that has been successful in transforming themselves in the new digital world, like the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Economist, the Spiegel, the Guardian in England, or Kompas, or Tempo in Indonesia. Or you can just, okay, I'll just join use the Facebook or Google. That's also a possibility. Or you have a more progressive and social-minded idea, and you want to join the non-profit company like Wikipedia. Yeah? That's the other possibilities. And next. So that's basically my presentation of today, and I hope I'm just on time to finish my presentation, so that we can have ample time for question and answers, and I'll be very happy to receive your questions if things are not so clear to you, or you need to elaborate more on certain topic, and hopefully I can give a good answer to that. So with this, I'll give back to the moderator or the panitia to organize the question and answer session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bambang Harimurti, for delivering such an enlightening speech today. Thank you once again, Mr. Bambang Harimurti. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, next we are going to present second keynote speech on the media literacy in the disinformation era by our second keynote speaker, Mr. Nestor Corrales. He is a political reporter for the Philippines Daily Inquirer. He covered Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte and the presidential village speech. He previously covered the House of Representatives, the police, and the military for the 2022 Philippine national election. He covered the campaign of presidential candidate Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. and his running mate Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte. He was a 2015 fellow on the International Center for Journalists and a 20 war correspondent fellow. He finished a data journalism program with the Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism and the UK-based Open Knowledge Foundation. He finished his undergraduate degree from the Mariano Marcos State University and is taking his Master of Arts in Journalism at the University of Philippines. Mr. Nestor Corrales, the time is yours.
Hello, good morning everyone. Can you hear me clearly? I will just have to, may I ask the host to please allow me to share my screen? Thank you. Okay, good morning everyone. So good morning everyone. Good morning to our participants from Indonesia, Thailand, and here in the Philippines. I hope everybody is doing well during this COVID-19 pandemic. I will be discussing about digital citizenship and how media literacy, or how being digital literate, is very important in the fight against disinformation, because this is one of the challenges for us journalists and maybe you communicators and journalism students. Indeed, the pandemic has paralyzed the way we conduct our daily activities. In my case, as a reporter for a national daily, the Philippine Daily Inquirer here in the Philippines, the way we do our coverage has been greatly affected or has greatly changed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. For instance, due to the surge of COVID-19 cases in my country recently during the start of the year, we were not able to do physical coverage. I have to stay at home and cover press conferences remotely. I have to do my interviews online. And in the Philippines, and in your respective countries as well, we have experienced remote learning due to the COVID-19 pandemic, as most schools, if not all schools, were closed due to this pandemic. But thanks to the digital media, we were able to continue our daily activities. Today, we live in a world where everything is within reach because of digital media. Indeed, digital media has infiltrated our lives. The way we see the world, the way we make our decisions, the way we take our actions have been greatly influenced by digital technology. I believe all of you, every day of our lives, we are using digital technology. We are using digital media in whatever forms and in whatever context. That's why there's a saying that we are now living in a social world, in a digital world. I would like you to share. I would like to share this data. This data shows that the world has 7.91 billion population. This is as of January 2022. And out of the 7.91 billion, 5.31 are unique mobile phone users. And out of this one, or more than half of that, of the world's population, 4.95 uses the internet. And out of this one, 4.62 billion are active social media users. So more than half of the world's population is now in the digital world. Our internet users, our smartphone users, our active social media users, whether that's Facebook, that's Twitter, that's Instagram, WhatsApp, Viber, or any other social messaging app. That is why I've mentioned that it's very important for us to understand how this digital technology has changed the way we do things and has changed how we conduct our daily activities. Thus, we are called digital citizens. And this is where the concept of digital citizenship comes in. First, what is digital citizens? Digital citizens refers to individuals who use the internet regularly and effectively. And one definition of digital citizenship is that it refers to the ability to engage positively, critically, and competently in the digital environment, or what we call the digital world. So just to recap, my talk will focus about digital citizens and digital citizenship. These are two very important in talking about how the media has changed the way we do our daily activities. And as has been highlighted, digital citizenship is the ability to engage positively, critically, and competently in the digital environment. Because today, we have seen the rise of misinformation and disinformation, which has become a challenge for journalists like me, for communicators, for journalism professors, and even for students. We have seen the rise of misinformation and disinformation in our society. And this can be very little because most of those people, most of the almost 4.7 million active social media users are not engaging positively, critically, and competently in the digital environment. They become victims of misinformation and disinformation. So what is misinformation? Misinformation is false information that is spread regardless of the intent to mislead. While disinformation is a kind of misinformation that is intentionally false and intended to deceive or mislead. So you can see the difference between two. So these are the two factors, or these are the two elements that has been spreading faster than facts. And it happens in the digital world. And because of this misinformation and disinformation, our role as journalists has become more challenging. So remember, misinformation is false information that is spread regardless of the intent to mislead. While misinformation is an intentional and false. You have the intention to deceive and you have the intention to mislead your public or the people you are you want to read your stories or the posts you make on social media. That is why it is very important that we possess digital literacy. What is digital literacy? Digital literacy is the ability to competently evaluate the content we see online. It is the ability to communicate clearly the things we want to convey in the digital world. Because most of us, with just the click, with just the use of our mobile phones, using our computers, our laptops, there are thousands, billions of information in the digital world. And we are very susceptible to spreading this misinformation and disinformation. Yes, it is true. It has been very helpful, not only for journalists like me, but for students like you, that we have now the digital technology, particularly during this COVID-19 pandemic, where everything became digital. the way we do our reports, the way we do our interviews, the way we do our classes. We have online classes now, the way we submit the requirements. So everything has become digital. And with this easily available information, it is very important for communication and journalism students, and for every one of us here, that we are able to competently evaluate or discern the content we are using, we are sharing, or we are conveying in social media. So the rise of disinformation, it is very also important to take note that the rise of disinformation and misinformation in our society has led to increasing cases of cyber libel, of cyber crimes, cyberbullying, and trolling, among others. So the trolls and the troll farms, I bet every one of you is familiar with this one. Not only in the Philippines, but in Thailand, in Indonesia, and in other parts of the world, we have troll farms, and how this have become a lucrative job for others. They don't only post on social media to mislead people, but this has become a lucrative job for others. Yes, there have been reports in the Philippines where there are paid trolls. We call them paid trolls because there are these people who are willing to be paid to spread misinformation and disinformation online to promote a certain propaganda of a certain politician or a certain organization. So this is alarming. This is while I mentioned earlier that there are benefits of online media, there are also these disadvantages of this readily available information online. That is why it is very important that we are digital literates, that we know how to evaluate the information that we consume online. That is why, as digital citizens, as journalists, and as communicators, it is our duty to fight misinformation and disinformation before these two concepts or before these two elements totally control us, our society, and the truth. I say because these people who are spreading misinformation and disinformation are presenting alternative facts in the digital world. And sad to say that some of us are being victims of these alternative facts. That is why it's very important for us to be digital literates, to conduct or to be good digital citizens in the digital world. I have presented here, so this one, how to be a good digital citizen. A good citizen and a good digital citizen has no major difference. Like, for example, in the first point, a good citizen advocates for equal human rights for all. While if you are a good digital citizen, you advocate for equal digital rights for all. Because as we understand, there are still there are still places in various parts of the world, in the Philippines and maybe in your countries, that do not have access to the internet, that do not have access to the digital world. This has been shown, or this has been evident during the COVID-19 pandemic, where our learning process, where our educational system shifted from physical classes to remote learning. So that one, a good citizen advocates for equal human rights for all, while a good digital citizen advocates for digital rights for all. Another one is a good citizen treats others with respect, while a good digital citizen seeks to understand all perspective. There are instances that when we open our social media accounts, whether it's Facebook or Twitter, we have that knee-jerk reaction that we immediately comment on issues that we have not yet fully understand. So it is very important that as a good digital citizens, we have to seek and to understand the various perspectives, the various issues, or the various stories behind these certain posts, images, or text that we view online. Another one is a good citizen does not steal or damage others' property, while a good digital citizen respects digital privacy, intellectual property, and other rights of people online. For communication students and journalism students, we have mass media law subjects, we have media ethics, and if you have not yet taken the subjects, it will be further explained to you during this subject, but it's very important that we respect digital privacy online, it is not right for us to spread sensitive or private informations of individuals regardless of our intent without their permission online. In the Philippines, there are cybercrime laws that those who spread the private information of individuals and communicates clearly, respect. A good digital citizen communicates and acts empathy for others' humanity via digital channels. It is very important that while we should have a proper decorum online, like what I've mentioned earlier, the digital era or the digital world has made trolls and troll farms very lucrative in this part of the world, in the Philippines and in other parts of the world. And when you share information that does not confer with their beliefs or with what they believe or with the propaganda they are pushing, then people are acting negatively, commenting negatively on the information you share online. So it's very important that as good digital citizens, we communicate and act with empathy. Whatever digital platform is that, always remember that whenever we open our Facebook accounts, our Twitter accounts, our YouTube accounts, and other social media platforms, we leave a digital footprint, and it's there. It's there. It remains in the web. So it's very important that we think before we post anything, before we comment on anything. It is very important that we are able to discern these things before we post anything, because what I've mentioned, we have digital footprints that will be there forever in the web. Another one is a good citizen speaks honestly and does not repeat unsubstantiated rumors. While a good digital citizen applies critical thinking to all online sources, including fake news or advertisements. In my case as a journalist, we have been receiving various press releases, whether online or in any medium. But what I want to share with you is to never accept anything at face value. Always challenge the things we receive. Always challenge the statements, the photos, the videos we see, especially online, especially when people are spreading misinformation and disinformation. Never accept them at face value. Be able to verify if these things are true. We have this concept of fact-checking, verifying the veracity of statements, of photos, of videos posted online. So we have various tools to verify. To also join fact-checking initiatives in your communities or in your universities, because it is very important that we also, as good digital citizens, we apply critical thinking so that we may not just accept anything that is given or accept anything or believe anything that we see on social media. Another one is a good citizen works to make the world a better place. While a good digital citizen leverages technology to advocate for and advance social causes. We have seen this many times, especially during this pandemic, when some of our brothers and sisters in poorer countries or in marginalized parts of our countries, the power of social media, the power of technology, we are able to tell their stories, and through social media, we are able to bring the help they need. So this is one example of using technology to advocate for and advance social causes. So it is very important that we use these technologies properly, wisely, and to the advantage of our social causes or the things we want to promote. And on this slide is a good citizen protects self and others from harm, while a good digital citizen is mindful of physical, emotional, and mental health while using digital tools. Perhaps you have experienced that in the digital world, there is freedom of expression. So we can say everything we want, but sometimes it goes beyond the boundaries of what should be said or what should be done by a good digital citizens. We should always be mindful of our physical, emotional, and mental health. As a reporter covering President Duterte since she was in office in 2016, I have been reporting about critical issues about his drug war, about his independent foreign policy, about his position on the South China Sea. And these critical issues have been published in our newspapers and published online. And I have been receiving various attacks from supporters of the president and those who support his administration. So they are not mindful of whatever things they say. They just attack you because they believe you are against the president. They believe that criticism does not have place in the Duterte administration here in the Philippines. That's why we should always remember to be a good digital citizen. It is not wrong. It is not a mistake to voice out concerns, to make constructive criticisms online. But what I'm trying to convey and to say is that we should always be mindful that these criticisms and these comments and these photos, videos we share online are always mindful of the emotional and physical and mental health of others in the digital community. Let us not be like the trolls who make trolling and who make foul language just to promote certain causes or just to promote certain advocacies. Another one is a good citizen teams up with others on community projects, while a good digital citizen leverages digital tools to collaborate others. Like what I've mentioned earlier, in the Philippines, we have at least, if I'm not mistaken, 120 non-government organizations, media organizations who join together to create fact-checking initiatives, particularly because the May 9 Philippine presidential elections is approaching. We will be having our elections in a few weeks, in a few days' time. So a good digital citizens leverages digital tools to collaborate with others. It is very important, for example, if you don't have yet fact-checking groups or fact-checking initiatives in your universities or in your communities, it is very important that because we have this access to technology, because we are communication and journalism students, and perhaps some of you, I hope most of you will be joining the industry after you graduate. So it is very important that now we are able to do our contribution. It's good if we have fact-checking initiatives, fact-checking groups in our universities and in our communities, so as to be able to help in the fight against misinformation and disinformation. Next one is a good citizen projects a positive self-image, while a good digital citizen understands the permanence of digital world and proactively manages digital identity. This is what I mentioned earlier, that we are able, that we should always remember that whenever we use our social media, there's a digital footprint that will be there forever in the web. So let's always be mindful of what we share, of what we comment on social media. So I would like to highlight before the start of this training, our MSU, the Mariano Marcos State University President, Dr. Shirley Agrupis, mentioned that it is an industry that will never cease, because there have been fears that with the digital age, with the advent of digital technology, the press, particularly in my case as part of traditional news media, I'm in a national newspaper. But a good thing, we have our online, our website where we post our stories. We have also our digital subscription, similar to the New York Times, the Washington Post. So I agree that as long as we have, to paraphrase what Ma'am Shirley Agrupis earlier said, that as long as we have inquisitive communicators and journalism students who want to join the profession one day, then the media industry is an industry that will never cease. We just have to adapt. We just have to adapt to how the digital technology changes. How do we adapt as journalists? because I remember one story from my editor that before the social media age, before the digital technology age, when she was covering rallies, demonstration, and protests in major streets in Metro Manila, he would go to a payphone, would call his office, would dictate the story so as to be able, so his or her story would be included in tomorrow's edition of the newspaper. So imagine before the digital age, we have, or before the advent of Facebook, of Viber or WhatsApp, before you can quickly send your story to your editor or to your desks, people would go to a payphone, would dictate the story, if it most especially if it's a breaking news and you want it to be included in tomorrow's newspaper. So they have to go to payphones. But now we have readily available technology. We have our smartphones, we have Facebook, so we can immediately send our stories wherever we are. Like in this example, here we go. This is a 2017 photo. This was taken at the Government House of Thailand. I was covering the state visit of President Rodrigo Duterte in Bangkok, Thailand in 2017. And the meeting between President Duterte and the Prime Minister of Thailand happened late in the afternoon. So we had to send their story immediately so that it will be able to be included in tomorrow's newspaper. So with the advent of technology, with just our laptops, with our smartphones, we were able to send our story right after the event. And automatically after we sent the story, our desk here in Manila, because I was in Bangkok that time, they were able to receive our story immediately. They were able to get our story immediately. And with this kind of technology, we are able to adapt from what I've mentioned earlier, from using payphone just to dictate your story, just to be able to relay your story to the desk. Now we have our laptops, we have our computers. We can write breaking news on our mobile phones. We can write breaking news as the event happens. You will immediately see it on our website. So this is how media, this is how journalism has evolved. It will never cease. We just have to adapt. There are fears like what I've mentioned, that the print industry is dying, but no, it's not dying. We just have to adapt to new initiatives, to new innovations, to new digital tools to be able to survive, particularly and especially during this pandemic that we have very many challenges. So with this one, we are able to give you the news immediately. We are able to give you the news as it happens. Like in this photo, this was a 2018 photo of President Duterte and Chinese President Xi Jinping. This was in Beijing. So before the digital age, before we have our smartphones, of course you will not be able to immediately know what happened. But because we have our smartphones, we have our Twitter accounts, we are able to immediately inform you. We are able to immediately inform you what happened about the meeting, what happened about the event. So it is very important. So this is how technology has evolved from using the payphone and now taking advantage of our smartphones and the social media that is within our reach to be able to give you reliable news, accurate news. I say accurate news because the gatekeeping functions of media, with the advent of social media, particularly Facebook and Twitter, where everybody can publish whatever they want. That's why it gave rise to misinformation and disinformation. That's why it is very important that as communication and journalism students, we are able to join in this fight against misinformation and disinformation. In the succeeding days, you will be discussing about, I think it's about digital culture, strengthening media literacy, strengthening marketing. So these are very important. These are very important tools. These are very important discussions. But all of these are affected by the era of misinformation and disinformation. That's why it is very important for all of us to fight misinformation and and disinformation. As a reporter, I have been personally receiving attacks because of my reporting or because of my association with the Philippine Daily Inquirer for our international audience here. For our international audience here, the president or Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte has been attacking our newspapers, and because of that, we have been subjected to various online harassments. I have been receiving on my Twitter account, on my Facebook Messenger, harassment online saying people know where I live, people saying I should be careful because they know where I go that certain day, that particular time of the day. So these are online harassments. These are online attacks, and they continue to spread misinformation about me, about my company, about my newspaper, saying we are paid trolls, we are paid to attack the administration and the government. So, and this does not only happen here in the Philippines, it happens in other parts of the world. There are journalists who risk their lives. There are journalists who are jailed. There are journalists who receive more than 11 counts of cyber libels because of misinformation, because of disinformation. So it is very important that as journalism and communication students, we are able to fight disinformation and misinformation. Always remember that in journalism, it is a discipline of verification. Even in communication, it is a discipline of verification. So we should always verify the things we share, the things we see online. We should not be part of this misinformation and disinformation network that has become a challenge for us, that has become a challenge for communication and journalism students, for our professors. So we should always be committed to the truth, as one of the elements of journalism is commitment to the truth. We should always be loyal to the citizens. So we should always remember this one when we are online, to how to behave, how to particularly behave, or how to observe our proper decorum online. So it is very important that we join this fight. As what I mentioned earlier, if you have fact-checking groups in your communities or in your universities, please join them. If you don't have, maybe you can create, maybe you can form fact-checking groups in your communities, because it is not yet late to fight this misinformation and disinformation, because it is very concerning, particularly for me as a journalist, that it's hard to say, but there are surveys in my country, in the Philippines, particularly to the research and survey firm, the Social Weather Stations. Here in the Philippines, 7 out of 10 Filipinos believe in the problem of fake news and its spread on the internet is serious. So that's 7 out of 10 Filipinos believe the problem of fake news. So there really is fake news in the digital world. So there is really fake news in our digital communities. And according to the same survey, fake news on the internet like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube are also serious according to 67% of respondents. So most Filipinos believe that fake news is serious in these platforms I have mentioned, with 32% saying it is very serious and 35% saying somewhat serious. So you see the problem? The problem is there. It's already there. So what I'm trying to say and what I'm challenging you is that we should help to solve these problems. And as communication and journalism students, we should be able to join this fight against misinformation and disinformation, because we have seen how this have become very prevalent, particularly during this COVID-19 pandemic. There are blogs, there are bloggers who are sharing misinformation about the COVID-19 vaccines, that if you are being inoculated or if you get vaccinated with Sinovac, with Moderna and other brands of vaccines, it will have, you will die, it will have other effects, it will have long-term effects in your body. So this vaccine hesitancy, we journalists have been fighting. Information network is also strong. So as journalists and communications students, we should also be able to fight this one. We should be able to be not just internet savvy, because all of us are internet savvy. We like to share, we like to join this fight against disinformation and misinformation. And misinformation has been affecting us journalists, and maybe you communication students or you journalism students, when you want to join the media in the future, you will be also facing the same problems, the same difficult and challenging problems that we are facing today, that the misinformation and disinformation spreads faster than the truth and the facts. And many people are believing this one. So if you have like parents, siblings, brothers, and sisters, and friends, it's always good also to talk about digital literacy, to talk about disinformation and misinformation, so that we may not be able to be part of this network, so that we may be able to become good digital citizens. So I hope that in the coming days to come, you will be able to enjoy the various lectures and discussions you will have to discuss, you'll have to listen to. So if you have questions, you can post them on the comment section. I will be glad to answer them. You can send me a direct message so that I will be able to answer them, because I believe we have another keynote speaker, and I believe we have long lines of speakers who will be discussing in details the things that I have mentioned. So thank you very much. In the Philippines, we call it Maraming Salamat. And in Ilocos Norte, where I graduated from the Mariano Marcos State University, we call it Diyos Ti Agmina. Thank you, everyone. Ano oras flight mo?
Thank you, Mr. Nestor Corrales. And for the participant who has any question for Mr. Bambang or Mr. Nestor Corrales, who has any question, you can raise your hand and ask for Mr. Bambang or Mr. Nestor Corrales. You can write.
For the participant, you can write your question on the chat box. If you want us or if you have any question, you can write on the chat box. Thank you. You can raise hand maybe, or you can write on the chat box. Okay. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the next speech from Dean of Konkan Business School, as Prof. Pensri Jaron Wanit. As Prof. Pensri Jaron Wanit, the time is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Morning, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Morning, Good morning from Thailand. Good morning from Thailand. How are you today?
Good.
Very good. Very good. Nice to meet you all. Nice to meet you all. And nice to meet a professor from Philippines, from Indonesia. And I'm very happy and very glad to be here with all of you for International Virtual Short Course. And we just finished Thailand New Year yesterday. So we had a very good time, vacation from 13 until yesterday. So like we got holidays about 5 days. Happy time for us. This is the first day for starting working. Come back to work and happy to see you all. Okay. Can I share my screen? Everyone see it? See my screen? Hello.
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
see my screen? Do you see my screen?
Yes, I see.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for participation. Okay. This is my information. I'm from Thailand. I am associate professor at Khon Kaen Business School. The short name is KKBS. My faculty full name is Faculty of Business Administration and Accountancy. Khon Kaen University is in the northeastern of Thailand. We are about 400 kilometers from Bangkok. So if you go to Bangkok and you want to go further to our city, Khon Kaen city, you can take an airplane about 1 hour from Bangkok. But if you take a bus, it will be about 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours. It's a very nice place. We are very close to Laos and Cambodia. So if you have chance, you have opportunity to go to Thailand, please make a trip to Khon Kaen city. And in the future, if the Thailand border open to Cambodia and open to Laos, you can go further to both countries easily. And we have Indonesian students come to be exchanged at our school. For this year, we have more than 100 Indonesian students who want to join the student exchange program. So Indonesian students are totally welcome to Khon Kaen Business School. If you want to come, please let me know, and we can send you all information about our course, our English courses that we open for international students. And we also have international students studying in master degree program as well. And for this year, we are opening international program in accounting and international program in PhD program or doctoral program. So if you want to study further in master degree or doctoral degree, we have international programs, English program for you all. It's information from Khon Kaen University. We are the biggest university in northeastern Thailand. Right now, we are the sixth rank. We are number 6, number 5, number 6 rank in Thailand. For Khon Kaen Business School, right now we can say that we are maybe about like the 4th rank for business. We are the 4th rank in Thailand. Okay, this is information from Khon Kaen University for you to know a little bit about us. And if you want to have some more information, you can go to the website kku.ac.th. You can get more information about Khon Kaen University and also Khon Kaen Business School. If you want to know more about Khon Kaen Business School, you can go to kkbs.kku.ac.th. Okay, and you can have more information. If you can contact me directly. You can find my email address and you can contact me as well if you need more information. Okay, for today, I would like to share you about my idea or my information about the future of the press in the digital era. This is the outline for my presentation. For the first topic, I will share you about the digital era overview. The second topic is key trends in 2022 and beyond. And the third one is the global digital growth. And the fourth one is the overview of global internet use. And the fifth one is the impact of the experience and future purchase. And the last topic is how to improving media in the digital disruption. Do you see my screen clearly? Is it too small? If it's too small, I can make it bigger. Is this okay for you for this size? Is this okay? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it good for you? This size is good for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
very easy. Okay. Let me share you the link of my presentation. If you want to see yourself, you can see from. Okay, I will put it. Okay, I will put right now.
Yes, ma'am.
I put the link. Okay, I already put the link in the box, in the chat box. Okay, if you want to. Okay, you can see the link in the chat box. If you want to get my slide presentation. Okay, in the digital era, how it's changed. For the first one, consumers consume the news in digital formats And traditional journalism has changed profoundly with the onset of the digital newspaper. We can see that newspaper is not the same in the past, and the media outlets have had to completely revamp everything, especially the the media are different from in the past right now. They change the transition from print to online media had radically transformed the place. So we see the difference of the media from the past and now. I can say that it's not the same. When we get back to the past about 5 years ago or 3 years ago, much different from current situation. Not only the impact of COVID-19, but I think it might from the consumer behavior, the behavior of the people and the technology, because of the transformation of the technology and the behavior of the people and the situation, the economics and the infrastructure, everything has been changed. So the media have to change to get along with the situation. So I will share you the video, the short video, to see the changing of the newspaper. Sorry, sir. You can see that the newspaper is not on the print as in the past, but right now the newspaper are on many devices, on mobile phone, on social media, on internet. We share you one more video. It's quite long video.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I cannot hear. I cannot hear the sound. Can you share your sound on your device?
Sorry?
We can hear your sound device. Can you share your sound device?
You can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
No, ma'am. No sound in here.
Ma'am, we can be.
Again, please. I'm not so clear. Again, please. What you would like me to do? No sound. No sound from my video?
Yes, ma'am. Your video has no sound.
Oh, no sound from video, but you can
Yes,
can
ma'am, we
hear.
can hear you.
You can hear me, but you don't
Yes,
you don't
ma'am.
hear the video.
The video sound.
Okay, let me try.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's for this video. Did you hear this video? And what about this video? Do you hear the voice of this video?
Yes, ma'am, but there is no sound.
Okay, for this video is fine, right? You can hear it. Do you hear the voice from this video?
Yes, we can hear. We can only hear your voice. We can hear any voice from the video. Maybe you have to handle at your sharing screen setting. There is a setting you have to set before you share the video in the Zoom, so that we could be able to hear your computer voice.
I'm not so sure. But yesterday, 2 days ago, I opened it from my PC, but no problem at all. I don't know why you not hear my video, but you can hear my voice clearly, right? This is better. Is this okay for you?
Still no sound, ma'am. No sounds.
No sound from video.
Yes.
Okay. Just a moment, please. Okay, let me stop share. Aku pip yun na yun. Okay, let me hear again.
There you go, ma'am. There you go.
It's okay.
Okay now.
Everything is fine right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. Sorry for technical mistaken. Okay, I go to the next slide. I share you the information about key trends in 2022 and beyond. And you can see from the picture from Nielsen. And what's about the time right now? Consumer want more control of their time. They would like to have, they would like to use their time themselves. They want to control their time themselves. And for the variety, we will continue to see an explosion of the content and new ways to consume it. They have many variety to do many various activities, and we can see like there are so many new ways for the consumer to consume. And what's about the platform evolution? The platform are transforming to serve more purpose for users. So many platforms right now. We can see from the next slide. You can see the platform, the new platforms, and the current platform and the new platforms as well. And what's about the growth? The ad spend is building back up as brands start before the new ways to connect with consumers. So the growth of the ad spending is much more in this current situation. So this is the key trends in 2022 and next year beyond from now. Is the information about the future that we can see from the trends. And from this picture, I'll share you news and the rise of live streaming with social media and live streaming. Everyone is a reporter in 2021. This is the things that happen in Thailand. The incident happened in Thailand. Compare between 2015 and 2021, you can see that 2015 the people mostly watch the news through mainstream media. We have the local media. We have the local TV, Channel 7, Channel 3, and we also have like the Thai PBS. And some people watch the news via YouTube. But 2021, we can see the news, the big news in Thailand, fire at a plastic backpack factory in Samut Prakan province. Samut Prakan is the city near the airport, Suvarnabhumi Airport, the main airport of Thailand. The central airport in Bangkok is near Samut Prakan province. So when the incident about the fire at a plastics factory is like that, and then maybe it will be dangerous to the surroundings close to the airport. So this is the big news in Thailand last year. Top news in 2021 with more ways of watching through different platforms. You can see so many platforms that the people watch TV, different from 2015. This is like the live streaming and the behavior of the people to get to access to the news, and the reporter used for giving the information for reporting the news to the people. It's different, much different between in the past and current situation. And you can see from the media right now, the live commerce, live stream shopping is attracting customer to observe, interact, and make purchases. Right now, all kinds of product can sell by using live stream shopping. There are influencers, micro-influencer, who can be like the seller, who can be the marketer, sell the product via live stream shopping, via like the Instagram, via the Facebook live, and many kinds of live streaming. And they use for selling their product, making the purchase via the live commerce. This is I think not only in Thailand, but also in many countries, especially Asian countries. We use live stream shopping to sell the product, to attract the customer. And come to the TV. This is the time of reincarnation of the TV. Reincarnation is rebirth. I can say that's rebirth. TV, the people might not see the TV right now, but TV is still important for the people in Thailand as well. Most of people still watching TV, but TV will have to change the way to do to contact with the people and to attract the people to get the news or to see the program, the TV program. So you can see from the screen, TV screen with digital reincarnation, the subscription, the ad-based, advertising-based, video on demand, internet enabled device, and smart TV, digital players going linear, and broadcast video on demand, and multi-video programming distributors, and addressable linear TV. So I can conclude from this slide. TV is still important for the people, for the people lifestyles now, even in Thailand, not only in Thailand, but also in many countries. But TV have to change the way to do, and change the way to communicate with the people, change the way to distribute the news, distribute the program to the people, and they need to work with other tools, other media. It's the way of the place in the future. We have to realize that everything will be changed, but if even it change, it might not. Even it change, has to understand the people, understand the audience, understand the customer as well. Some customers still like the same way, but most of customers need to have the new thing. So sometimes the TV, sometimes the other tools have to mix between the old way and the new way together. Okay, come to the TikTok. Everyone know TikTok in Thailand. It's very famous, very popular right now. TikTok users use TikTok for the latest news. And in Thailand, the proportion of the people, the customer right now, they use the TikTok, and the sellers, the marketer, the product owners use TikTok for doing marketing. And compared to in the past, and maybe 2 years ago, before COVID-19 pandemic, TikTok at that time is not so popular. But right now, the TikTok is much more popular than 2 years ago. Compared to Instagram, compared to Facebook, right now in Thailand, TikTok is the most powerful tool for the teenager, for the youngsters, especially for the children, for for the students as well. They use TikTok. And there are so many TikTokers. They can use TikTok for doing marketing. So this is like the trend, and this is like the media that will be more powerful in the future. I'll come to the statistics of the global digital growth. I'll share you the information. You can see from the picture, we compare between 2020 and 2021. You can see that the total population is about 80 million, and for the growth of the total population increased 1%. You can see here 1% here, and the unique mobile phone user increased 1.9%. You can see that the percentage of increasing of mobile phone user is higher than the increasing of the number of population in the world. Population in the world increased 1%, but the mobile phone user increased 1.9%. You can see here. And the internet user, come to the internet user. Internet user increased 7.6%. See? And the active social media user increased 13.7%. From this statistic, you can see the powerful, you can see the power of the social media in the future. And you can see like how we do the marketing. If we want to succeed, we want to be successful in doing marketing, we need to use the social media. Since the social media user increased 13.7% for 1 year. Yes, sorry. Oh, from this statistic, you can see the importance of social media and the importance of the internet user. So this is the good information for us to think about doing with internet, doing with social media. How can we get the usefulness from internet? How can we get the benefit from social media users? I go to the information about the global internet use. We can see from the first picture, from the first one, the total number of global internet users, 4.72 billion. Internet users as a percentage of total global population. Internet users are about 60% of the total global population. And you can see the annual change in the number of global internet users. Increased 7.6% a year. Increased every year about 7.6%. And the average daily time spent using the internet by each internet user, 6 hours, about 6 to 7 hours a day. Every day, the average time spending for internet, about 6 to 7. So this is very important information for the marketers like you, for the business owner to think about how can we get benefit from using internet daily, 6 to 7 hours per day. And this is the percentage of user accessing the internet via mobile device. They use internet by via mobile device, 92%. So how can we do marketing? How can we connect? How can we communicate with the people, with the customer via mobile device? It's very important. This is a good question for us to think about. How can we get a good thing from the mobile device? Okay, this is the information. And go to the statistic. Global digital ad spend is going mobile. This is the information to confirm that mobile device is very important right now. You can compare between the black color and the blue color. You see the blue color will be smaller and smaller. But you can see the black color is bigger and bigger. The blue color is digital advertising desktop, but the black color is digital advertising mobile. So you can see this is that the very good trend in digital advertising mobile. You can see from like 2017, 44%, but the forecast in 2025 will be 65%. This is the digital ad spend in mobile phone in the future, 2025. Okay, and go to the impact of the experience on future purchase. From this slide, I would like to share you about how will the current online experience impact your future purchase. We have the survey. I got the information about survey, the decision of the consumer about how will the current online experience impact their future purchase. We can see the percent say current online experience will impact future purchase. They say yes. They confirm that online experience now, current online experience will impact future purchase of them. The global percentage of yes, who say yes, who confirm that the online experience will impact future purchase, 66%. This is the around the world, the global percentage. But you can see for Italy, 79%, and the US, 73%, UK, 73%, France, 53%, and Germany, 52%. The percentage might be different, but it's quite high percentage. So this is a good information for us to see, to confirm that if they have the good experience with online purchasing, online buying, it definitely impact to their future purchase. So how can we make the people to have the good online experience? Because we can, if they have the good online experience, it will impact, it will help us to sell the product in the future. Good information. And the global, come to this slide. This slide will show you about the global digital ad spend to top 420 billion in 2022. You can see the green color. Okay, the green color is very important. Since the green color increase in the big proportion, you can see like from 2017, the green color is quite small, but in the future, 2025, the green color will be bigger, biggest one, the biggest color, compared to the yellow color, compared to the gray color. From 2017, you can see the yellow color is quite small. But in 2025, it's bigger than 2017, but it's still small. Compare between the green, the yellow, and the gray color. You can see that the green color is bigger, much bigger than yellow and gray. So come to see what's the green color. The green color is search advertising. The yellow color is banner advertising. And the gray color is social media advertising. So this is the much more important information for us to see the trend in the future. This is the global digital advertising spend. They spend much more in search advertising and social media advertising. So this is the future of the place in digital era. We can see the we can see the power of the search advertising and social media advertising as well. Okay. What does personalization in media look like in the future? And from the information from the statistics, what the personalized in the media look like in the future? We suggest that the key to be successful in disrupting the media landscape is to deliver personalized products. We need to have the product with personalization of personality. You have to design the product to get along with the personality of the customer and the service that meet changing customer trends. We have to understand the consumer. We have to understand the trend. We have to understand their behavior, their demands, and their lifestyles. So we can deliver the personalized product to get along with their style, to get along with their demand. And consumer want to engage with the contents on their own terms. So the business must adapt to new digital technologies to provide customers with the right information at the right time and the right channel. Even there are so many channels, we have to choose the right channel. We have to choose the right time, and we have to choose the right information to access or to get the touch point of the consumer. Technological advancements offer valuable opportunity to learn more about the customer, and it's essential to build a single view of your customer to stay ahead. So this, as I mentioned already, we have to understand, we have to learn more about the consumer, the customer. Even we have the information right now, but we have to foresee in the future and how can we adjust ourselves, how can we adapt ourselves to the customer in the future, and how to improve in media in the digital disruption. Okay, this is our idea, my opinion, to give all of you, and how can we do in the future for improving the media, improving the place in the digital disruption. The first one, position your business and for success during digital disruption. We have to position, we have to understand ourselves, and we have to make decision. What is our position? What is our positioning? The marketing way, we need to have our positioning, what we call the identity. What is our identity? We have to position ourselves. And the second one, we have to make sure the technology can keep up. We have to learn the technology. We have to follow, and we have to go with the technology. We have to take the advantage of the modern technology, build a healthy relationship with customers. It's very important. I think we need to keep the customer. We need to retain the customer. We have to be good with the customer. Good relationship. We need to create. We need to develop the good relationship with the customer. We need to reinvent the content techniques. Check the revenue gateways. How can we get the revenue? If we have like the gateway to revenue, we have the we have few revenue gateway. We have to add up the new gateway to get the new revenue, and we have to use the innovative ideas for price and product. We use a customer-oriented approach. This, I think, is a very good way to do, to understand the customer, to make the customer as the central of our strategy. Use a customer-oriented approach, and we have to work with the enterprise resource planning and customer relationship management, ERP or CRM, solution to streamline complex billing and revenue stream. This is my idea, my opinion related to the future trend or future pace improvement in the digital disruption. Okay, this is all information for my idea and my presentation. Thank you very much for attention. If you have any questions, please.
Thank you very much, as for Pensri Jarwanit, for the best speech. Thank you very much.
And next, we have one question for Sir Nestor. The question is from John Vincent. The question is, there are many sources claiming that there are no such thing as objective is in journalism, and that they are forwarding transparency. Instead, example, uploading undetailed interview transcript on news sites. What are you talk on this, Mr. Nestor? I'm sorry, Mr. Nestor, leave the Zoom meeting, and now we go to the last agenda on this day.
Okay, for all participants, don't forget to open information on social media competition on the chat box and join the competition. And we hope good luck. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the have stay until the end. Thank you very much for kind your attention. Stay healthy and happy. See you on the next day with the topic, the use of new media and information democracy.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you.
See you.
Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much from the Philippines.